Are my slides visible?
Yes, sir. Your slides are visible.
Yeah, visible, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay.
Please go ahead, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
Audible.
Am I seen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
My speaking?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's good evening, everybody. It's very nice of you for selecting me for this prestigious oration, and also the subject also is very much attached to me. Recently, I have got so much interest in this particular subject, and allowing me to speak on this one, scientific basis of yoga therapy in psychiatric practice. So it's my pleasure to be with all our psychiatrists here, and also non-psychiatric personal yoga people, and all those who are interested in this topic. And I welcome you all for this session. First of all, let me pay my respects to Dr. K. Bhujangarao sir. Really, if you have to talk about Sthita Prajnata, I think none other than Dr. Bhujangarao is the embodiment of Sthita Prajnata. As our friends are telling, I have never seen him to be angry or irritable with anybody, never impatient, always a smile on his face. He did his MD in All India Institute of Medical Sciences, and he was one of the first psychiatrists of Andhra Pradesh. And I remember when we started Indian Psychiatric Society AP chapter, Dr. Chandramouli Garu was the first president, and Dr. Bhujangarao Garu was the second president, then Dr. Raghuram Reddy Garu, and so on. And he was responsible for starting the department in Kakinada Rangaraya Medical College, and also he headed the department of psychiatry in Kurnool Medical College, in Tirupati, in Guntur. He worked there, and he trained PG students. After retirement from the government services, he joined in Khammam Medical College, and there he headed the department, where my daughter happened to be his student, where she did her MBBS and DPM also there. And in that way, we are very much indebted to Bhujangarao Garu for his services to the psychiatric fraternity of Andhra Pradesh, and I bow my head with reverence. And let me pay my respects to the Khammam Psychiatric Society President Satish Babu Garu, Vice President Pramod Garu, Secretary Narayan Rao Garu, and Raghuram Garu. And also, let me pay my respects to today's chairpersons Kishan Garu and Minhaspar Nasirabadi Garu, and also the chief guest Jagannath Garu, George Reddy Garu, Sobadev Garu, Pradeep Garu, and Bhagya Reddy Garu, and all these guests who have come here. I am very fortunate to have all of them here. And also, my respects to Dr. Chandrasekhar. He was just 1 year junior to me at NIMHANS. And Dr. Gangadhar, Dr. Chandrasekhar, these are all 1 year junior to me. And he was the first recipient of this prestigious award. And it's my fortune to have it now here. I have entered into yoga with enthusiasm, with interest. Now I have so deeply immersed that I am following a particular sect of yoga. Dr. Geetananda Giri Swami, this particular Geetananda yoga sect I am following. See, some people think that whenever they talk about Swamiji's, they speak so somewhat prejudiced way. Even some time back also I happened to see a posting. Swamijis are all 10th class failed people, all are womanizers and so on. But this Swamiji, he is a Mathadipati, he was a medical doctor. He was responsible for propagating yoga long ago. Since long ago he was doing it, and not only in our country, in many countries. And I am fortunate to have his son, now the new Peethadipati of the Geetananda culture, Dr. Ananda Balayogi Bhavanani. He is also a medical doctor, a gold medalist from the university, and he is the professor of yoga therapy in Balaji Vidyapit University, where I am doing my PhD in yoga therapy. My respects to Dr. Anand Balayogi Bhavanani, and also my co-guides, Dr. Meena Ramanathan, and also our psychiatrist, fellow psychiatrist, Dr. Vijay Gopal. They are my co-guides. I am fortunate to see her among the audience. Dr. Meena Ramanathan and Ramanathan there, and very fortunate to have my teachers among the audience. And my respects to Dr. B.N. Gangadhar. He was junior to me by 1 year. He was the director and vice chancellor for NIMHANS and Padma Shri awardee. And indeed, he was inspiration for me. Long ago, he did his PhD in yoga therapy. He was so much interested in that one. And in NIMHANS, he started the yoga therapy department, and he has done a lot of research. And as you were asking whether there is any evidence for this one and all, so much evidence we can find from their review articles. And also, see, yoga is not for some sannyasis or so, or some esoteric people, or some priests, or some particular class, or belonging to particular religion or so. Dr. H.R. Nagendra, a mechanical engineer, he did his PhD from IASC, and then he worked for NASA, he worked for Harvard University, and he taught there for the people for so many years. And then he came back to India and he started Yoga University. Indeed, he is the yoga guru for our Prime Minister Modi ji, and he is responsible for getting yoga recognized in the international circles. So people of this sort, really scientific people who are taking yoga to the level of perfect science. People somehow, they are so blind, just like the frogs in a particular well think that this is the only world and outside world is not there. So that type of ostrich-like phenomena we see with the people. So now the yoga has gone to the scientific level. Why not we integrate yoga therapy with psychiatry? Psychiatry is there in the modern thing, and some people laugh at Ayurveda psychiatry as Bhutavaidya and so on. Okay, Bhutavaidya may be there and some beliefs may be there. We don't believe in them. We call them as hallucinations, or we call them as dissociation. We are not going to step down from our beliefs. But why not integrating yoga, a perfect science, into our discipline? So this is my assumption, and this I am going to speak today. My menu card is scientific approach. What is it? Scientific approach means what is written by some Western people in their books only. Whether we have witnessed it or not, that is only science, and not those written by our Indian people. Is it? It's not so. Scientific approach has got certain qualities. Whether yoga comes under those qualities or not. Whatever is good, we'll take. Whatever is bad, we remove it, or we leave it. Is there any need for psychiatry? Are we totally 100% contented? Can yoga fulfill the requirement? Whatever lacuna we have, can yoga fulfill? Are there any compatibility issues? Because they speak in one language, we speak in another language. Whether there is any incompatibility between these two. And what is the proof that particular asana is working in particular condition or so? What is the proof? What are the future projections? What will be in 2025 or 2030? There are, from psychiatrist point of view, we have got so many unsolved issues. See, so many illnesses, we have got management, but no cure. We know that one. See, some people, after getting recovered from their depression or their psychosis, they ask us, how long to take? We cannot say precisely, because how long means, if we say you can stop the medicine, he may get relapse. If you ask them to continue the medicine for years together, they say that, see, this patient has got addicted to the sleeping pills, and the doctor wanted him to continue. So this type of things we say, better not to go to a psychiatrist and start medicine. If we start medicine, we have to take it forever. This type of myths, misconceptions also we know, because there is management, but no cure like taking it off the body like typhoid or so. There are so many medical illnesses like diabetes or hypertension or so. Similarly, we have got our schizophrenias and so on. Partial but no full recovery. Yes, sir, the patient has come to almost normalcy. all those hallucinations, delusions have gone, and all that ferocious behavior has gone. But that but is remaining. That but some 5% or 10%. What is that but? The patient lacks drive. He doesn't work at all. Always lies like a couch potato. So how to make him work? How to bring him to normalcy? The stigma, they happily go to a heart specialist and they flaunt that they spent 1 lakh rupees, 10 lakh rupees for his heart surgery and treatments and all. But they feel so shy to attend a psychiatrist with the stigma attached to the psychiatric problems. Helpless situations. So many helpless situations like, for example, intellectual deficit disorder, where somewhat we feel helpless, and dementias. So many dementias we feel helpless, and multidimensional, we know very much. It is not psychiatry means psychiatry alone, medical psychiatry alone. We require the help of psychologists, we require the help of social workers, occupation therapists. We know their role. And psychiatry means not just confining to brain alone, but so many ramifications. Every psychosis cannot be pinpointed to the gene and also the biochemistry. So many people, because of the stress, they get the psychosis. We know that. Multidimensional. And mostly we go in the medical frame, illness approach, always illness approach only, pathological approach. What is the pathology? What is the pathology? What is the disease? What treatment we have to give? But what about the wellness? We don't talk about wellness much. And different orientation. Everywhere in NIMHANS, in any university, any psychiatric society, biological oriented people, psychological oriented people. So always a tough war between these two. So many issues are there. In psychiatry, we learned so many things. We learned like child psychiatry, geriatric psychiatry, consultation liaison psychiatry, psychopharmacology, neurochemistry, psychotherapy. So many things we learned, and so many volumes we studied. But still some lacuna. See, you are seeing some pictures here. What do you see? People who are somewhat familiar with yoga asanas. Oh, this particular thing is called Shirshasana. This particular thing is called this asana, that asana. Some name they may put. Yes, I brought these pictures from Google. And see, these pictures I have brought from Google. What asanas are these? You may be thinking about some yoga asana if you are familiar with it. But really, see, I am just amplifying the scope of the figure, the canvas I am amplifying. Actually, the figures, the pictures which I have shown are not yoga pictures. Those are gymnastics pictures. I went to a gymnastics site and I am showing all those gymnastic pictures. Now, why I am telling this one is, unfortunately, yoga has deteriorated to such a level that it has become a gymnastics sports like. Yoga championship means one who can do gymnastics well will get that one. So it is unfortunate, is it not? Yoga has got the broader thing. It is not just asanas alone. The asana should be comfortable, stable. So sukha, is it not? And it should be sthira. But unfortunately, some crooked way how to keep this one and emphasizing that one. In what way it is going to be benefited when the mind is totally on that body posture only and body discomfort only. So this is in one way the yoga is deviating. Another way we think that it is all nonsense. It is all something concerned with the religion. We should not follow this one. So this is another way we see. And also the language also. See, a physician thinks about body. The body is called Annamaya Kosha. And the dead body and the living body. Oh, it has got Pranamaya Kosha. Okay, physicians accept that there is something like Pranamaya Kosha. We see the living body, dead body, almost structurally same, chemically same, everything is same except for the function. So life is there. So life must be some Kosha like. And we psychiatrists think that, see, our mind is abstract mind. We can't structurally show that one. Where is your eye? One can show. Where is your kidney? One can show. But where is your mind? Mind is the function of brain. Is it so? There again, those people who have attended my lecture in Kurnool some 8 years back about the duality function, mind and body, whether they are dual or mind is just the function of brain. Once the brain is gone, the mind is gone, or the mind is the superimposed thing. So here psychiatrists, we know about something like mind and its functions, which other physicians may not be in a position to tune to that level. We can tune up to monomaya kosa, where emotions, our memories and all, and vijnanamaya kosa, where our superego lies. This one, discerning capacity to do this one, this is wrong, this is right. So till that we can go up to. The imbalance in between these sheaths are considered to be responsible for the illness in yoga science. The prana flows through nadis. Nadis are not our nerves, nor our veins or arteries, but those are the abstract things. Abstract things we can't see. Yes, we can't say 72,000. Some people say no, 7 lakhs and 20,000. Some people say. So these are there. See here, I would like to say one analogy. See, I had a very bad cervical spondylosis some time back, and the discs were so degenerated, and the disc almost started compressing the spinal cord, and the neurosurgeon asked me to get immediate surgery. Otherwise, a single jerk can lead me to quadriplegia. But acupressure, one guru advised me to go for acupressure. Very reluctantly I went for acupressure, because what is that nonsense? Putting some pressure on the hand or foot, how is it going to help? But really it helped. But their language is somewhat different. Gallbladder meridian. In what way gallbladder meridian has got to do with my frozen shoulder and cervical spondylosis? It has. It worked. And the gallbladder meridian is not there in the gallbladder. It's a longitudinal path starting from the beginning to the leg and onwards. So 48 position, 43 position. So it is a big science. Abstract thing. Everything is abstract, but it worked. See, for our ECT we know that it works. It works so well. But how does it work? We could find some coincidental factor, this receptor, that thing, that chemistry, this one. But how really it works? We cannot say, is it not? So imbalances are responsible. Imbalances in the monomycosa or the adi or even the higher levels responsible for vyadis in the body, psychosomatics. Yoga therapy offers in schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, psychosomatic disorders, stress disorders, dementias, childhood disorders. We find, I don't say cure, but definitely we get some help. Scientific evidence is there. The basis of yoga is Patanjali Yoga. The whole text contains only two stanzas or 2 slokas on asanas. The main thing is about the control of the mind, your discipline. Yoga chittavrutti nirodha. Chittavrutti is the fluctuations in the mind. Control over the mind is the main thing. That is the thing which is the main aim of yoga. Samatva yoga muchite. Bhagavad Gita says equanimity, stability, harmony, balance, equipoise. So many people talk about so many great things, but unfortunately in practice they do the reverse thing. A person who talks about ahimsa, he will be doing lot of himsa to all the people around. A person who talks about satya, whatever he opens the mouth, everything will be untruth only, not the whole truth. The thing which is somewhat faulty only, he brings it out. So things of that sort, equanimity, stability, harmony, balance, equipoise. Tapas is nothing like doing some penance or so. Taking the dual things in an equal fashion. So all these things are very much useful in making the personality a better person. See how those things can be compared with our modern things. Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga means it is a realization that our individual self is part of a bigger self called universal self. It is our part. It is something like the bigger self is ocean. We are all waves like. When we realize that one, the death is immaterial, is it not? The body gets destroyed, but we are there forever. When we really realize that one, we will not have any fear of death at all. Because after all, shedding the body, 2020 is there, 2040 will definitely come, 2080 also will definitely come, and we are going to shed our body at one time or other. Then why should we worry about that one? So systems theory, that is what general systems theory, von Bertalanffy says, that is nothing but our ancient wisdom. Desensitization to the death, like a phobic person getting desensitized or a sexually inadequate person getting desensitized towards his fears. Similarly, death, desensitization towards the death, and bhakti yoga, displacing everything to the God. See all the sorrows, all the things, Krishna Arpanam. So this type of displacement, by displacement, he would be free from all the emotions. Raja Yoga total Ashtanga comes Raja Yoga. Mainly the latter part, the latter three limbs or four limbs for introspection, for concentration. Dharana, Dhyanam, Samadhi, these states are for concentration, improvement of the concentration. And when I was doing my MD in 77 to 80 in NIMHANS, Kartikeya Krishnamurthy was there in Hyderabad. He was 1 year senior to me in my MD. His thesis was on meditation, anxiolytic drugs, uh, comparative study on anxiety. Meditation was equally helpful. Karma Yoga, the detachment, the control of emotions. I have been speaking to school children, 10th class exam going to school children for 3 decades, more than 3 decades. Indeed, my BC Roy National Award for this type of services only. There, I always tell them, you put your effort, don't worry about the result. You may fail, you may pass. See, you are asked to break the bricks. Your bricks may break or your forearm may break. Okay, it is immaterial. How many marks you get is not in your hands, but you put your effort. So when I say this one, what a nice psychological principles he is telling, they are telling. But they do not know that I am telling you only the Gita principles only. Gita is the best psychotherapeutic tool ever produced in the history. Those are not my words. Dr. A. Venkobros. Whenever we hear his name, immediately our hands go into the folded mudra. Dr. A. Venkobrao, all his life he spent on 3 issues. One is depression, another is psychiatry or geriatric psychiatry. The third thing is Bhagavad Gita. And in south, Dr. Venkobrao in Madurai, and in north, Dr. J.S. Neki. And they were telling about Gita. They were all Western trained people. They got their MRCPs in UK. But they talked about Gita. They said that Gita is the best psychotherapeutic tool ever produced in the history. Even now, the cognitive behavior therapy, all the cognitive behavior therapy principles we see in Gita. Dr. N.C. Surya, I had the fortune to listen to his one lecture, Personal Autonomy and Instrumental Accuracy. He was the director of NIMHANS. When he was the director, I was not the student, but after his retirement, he went to Pondicherry. There in Aurobindo Ashram, he was living like a normal, ordinary man, never posed like a ex-director of NIMHANS. And he was invited to give a guest lecture. The real yogi, we can see utility in the prevention of disease and promotion of positive physical and mental health. Here, not just lack of disease is health. The WHO says always this one. It is not the lack of disease. It is the health, the positive thing. Even our Dr. IRS Reddy talked about the cosmetic psychiatry or the wellness. See, dermatology people are talking about the cosmetology. So it is something called salutogenesis. Salutogenesis, my guru, Dr. Bhavanani, he has written so many articles. When I use this word salutogenesis with many of the doctors, salutogenesis, what is this word? What does it mean? Because they are tuned to, our people are tuned to pathogenesis. Pathogenesis, always pathogenesis. Salutogenesis, producing wellness, extra positiveness. Yoga in United States estimate that around 7.5% of population practice yoga to promote physical and mental health. In 2012, 4 million people were practicing yoga. In 2016, 10 million. Just in 2020, today only I have seen the figure, it is 36 millions. Those many people are practicing in United States. Ancient ever shining wisdom we have got. Patanjali Yoga Sutra and so many things are there. And at the same time, we should not step out of evidence-based medicine. Evidence-based medicine, we should be in that realm only. With the evidence-based medicine lens only, we have to look at the yoga. We need not believe them on the face value. Okay, let us go by evidence-based medicine thing only. So this is the integration which is being done by scientific people. A medical doctor, and at the same time he is a Matadipati. So he is the best person. He has got training in yoga since his childhood, and at the same time he had the modern education. Dr. Nagendra is a well-known international scientist, and now he is talking about yoga. So this type of people, they are the best people to how to integrate these two things. Multi-centric trials are going on, not in just one place. Doing something in some Patanjali Yoga Ashrama and promoting it. People say that it is all business tactics, people say. It is not so. Multi-centric trials are going on. For example, in NIMHANS, modern medicine, you know that it is the apex institute for neurosciences and psychiatry in India. Not only India, it has got well reputation in Asia. There it is happening. In my university, Balaji Vidyapit, things are happening. Yes, Vyasa, in Bangalore, things are happening. Kaivalya Dhamma in Pune, Lonavala, lot of research is going on. In North also, Simla, Darjeeling, that places, there things are happening. See, PubMed, if something is quoted in PubMed, if something is abstracted in PubMed, very happy. PubMed, okay, PubMed recognized journal is it? Nice. Then peer-reviewed journal is it? It has got the recognition number is it? Oh, fine. During the past 1 year, today afternoon, I have just went to PubMed and searched for yoga therapy articles. 625 articles are there. 625 scientific articles are there. See this one. This is the screenshot. Yoga therapy I have keyed in. Yoga as therapy in irritable bowel syndrome and so on. So how many are there? 625 results are there. Similarly, if you go to academia or you go to ResearchGate or you go to Google Scholar and just key in yoga therapy or yoga, and how many articles you get. These are not there in the Talapatras and only we are believing or we are believing nonsense or so. Everything is scientific. See, we people, we are born in the traditional country and we are brought up in the traditional ways. On one hand, we have got the Sanatana literature in the form of Vedas, Upanishads and so on, and we are trained in the scientific way. So sometimes we get caught between these two things. Which one to? We can balance them, we can integrate them. That is my intention of this one. Both science and traditions, both are equally good and we have to integrate them, we have to validate them. Unfortunately, the rules of the game are different between these two things because the rules for one thing is different from another thing. Here the people are playing basketball, here the people are playing badminton. So how can the rules of the game be okay one? So here also the sources of knowledge are Pratyaksha Pramana, Anumana Pramana, Upman Pramana, Shabda Pramana. So many things are there, out of which science believes only few, whereas our traditions believe certain more things. Pratyaksha Pramana means directly seeing with our viewing or perceiving with our sensory organs. Yes, science believes, we also believe. Anumana Pramana, inference based observation. Because there is a smoke, there must be fire. Okay, science also believes for that one, and we also believe. Charvakas, they don't believe, but Buddhists, they believe. Upamana Pramana, when there is an analogy, to some extent science believes, For example, this particular chloroquine works in particular on particular virus. So it may work on coronavirus also. This particular thing has done some action on RNA. So this may work here also. So comparisons like bird flying and aeroplane flying. Sapta Pramana. Here the problem comes. We believe that our rishis are scientists. They have seen the things, they have experimented with the things, they have recorded the things. No, 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 we don't believe. They might have had hallucinations. How can we believe? Whatever they have written in Upanishads and all, Ukkada Puranas, so we don't believe, people may say. Okay, let us not believe, let us experiment it, let us prove it, let us try to see it. Psychosomatic things. Monomycosis is responsible for bodily illnesses. We believe it, is it not? A person who has got worries may get peptic ulcer, may get bronchial asthma, may get this one to such an extent. Then let us try to experiment it. See, certain things, if it is written in a science book, we believe. When it is written in a science book about some atoms or some electricity, some protons, we believe. We have never seen protons, but we believe because it is written by science teacher. But when it is written by a rishi, we don't believe because rishis maybe they might have had schizophrenia. Who knows? So this is the way we approach. Okay, let us approach that way only. But let us go in an evidence-based way only. What are the characteristics of science? It should be objective, not subjective. Unfortunately, our psychiatry itself is subjective. All the things which people say that they are having, we believe. Phenomenology. See, some experiments were also done. Some people, normal people, it is something like sting operation like. They went to the psychiatric hospital. There they said, I get voices. Oh, you are getting voices. Okay, then you must be having psychosis. Let us put on antipsychotics. So this type of thing was recorded, and later they came out saying that they are normal people only. And because we don't have any objective, psychiatry itself has got no objectivity. But objectivity is being tried on yoga therapy. That I'm going to come a little later. Systematic, everything systematic, randomized. If possible, blind, double blind. Double blind is not possible with many things, but okay, if possible. And statistical analysis, so much sampling and all. It should be logical. It should not be meaningless. It should be cumulative. The research should be having a thread. Whatever was done at some place, it can be extrapolated to some other things. It should be transmissible, and one person can transmit the data to other person, and they can interpret it. And it should be replicable. Whatever I say, that particular asana can give good results in OCD. It should be replicable everywhere, and it should be verifiable. On a particular scale, the measure that has come down so remarkably, it should be predictable. When I stimulate Chandranadi pranayama and the anxiety has come down, when I have stimulated Suryanadi pranayama, stimulation has occurred. When I put Sunya Mudra, the lung functioning on one side has come down. So objectively we can predict the thing and we can record and say the thing. It should be generalizable, not with a particular person or so. So these are the characteristics of science. So this rigor, scientific rigor, things are going to be applied and are being applied in yoga research. Now it has got worldwide this one. Even that one, the PubMed also, I have seen the screenshot shown. The very first thing is the work is being done in some other country, not in not Indian with this one. See, we after getting the international status, we should propagate the thing in a proper way. The whole thing, the whole world is gripping with invincible coronavirus. People say that those people who have practiced yoga, and the one person called Patanjali Srinivas, he was one thing I don't like, that is he doesn't wear mask. He should wear mask, but without mask, he was roaming in the corona wards, and for the past 6 months, Guntur district and Ongole district also, I think, mainly Guntur district. He has taught pranayamas and everything to all the people, and he got applaud from district collector and so on. So immunity it improves. This one also I come to the a little later how objectively it is proved. Medicine and minimalism. Always in the academic institutions they say monotherapy, monotherapy. But we private practitioners always go for polytherapy only. Always two antipsychotics. Sometimes even the third one also to get the better results. But minimalism is the the main motto of medicine. Less is more. So this one with yoga, very minimal things, very least effect, least cost, more effect. Can we say law of diminishing returns? Optimal point. At one point, if we push the things, opposite results we get. With the medicines, we get such a thing. Management is not equal to cure, but is better than any alternative. Drugs are powerful tools, but not the only options. So we have to think about the alternatives also. We have to think about the other side also. We always think about the external thing, material thing. But what about the other things? See, if a person has got hammer, everything looks like a nail for him. Therapy is a way of hammering away. When we got fluoxetine, oh wonderful drug, fluoxetine. Let us try it in depression. Let us try it in OCD. Let us try it in negative schizophrenia. Let us try it as a personality pill. Even a normal man also can become well. So when we got a hammer, we try to put this one ECT. Oh, let us try on all the things. Similarly, yoga also. Yoga, panacea. If you practice yoga, everything is cured. It should not be that way. It should not be that way. One has to be rational, either this side or that side. See, so many alternatives. I was telling about my example regarding the acupressure. See, how held them, and I have never got my neck scanned after that. So many other things are also are there. We should not show our blind face towards things of that sort. Even now we know that the diet plays so much importance in our psychiatry itself. In diabetes, how people are getting cured with keto diet and all, even without having medicine. With keto diet, people are becoming. I'm not supporting Veramachaneni or people of that sort, but keto diet is there for centuries together. But how it is working? Even in dementia, it is being tried. So always we should not think that whatever well I am, that is the well only, that is the whole earth only. We should not be that way. Therapy depends on clinical experience and judgment, people say. But unfortunately, clinical experience could be defined as repeating the same mistake with increasing levels of confidence. Whenever we have a weapon, we try to use that weapon for whatever be the target. And we try to fit into our frame. We think in our frame only. See, if you are a particular sect person, you try to think in that way only. You just never accept the other people's version. We have to improve this one. So we are trying to fit our whole thing into this one. Certain things, odd things also we have to think about. Whatever I say, devil's advocate like. We have to think about the negative things also about ourselves. See, so much anti-psychiatry is going on outside the world. You know why we got this new Mental Health Care Act? In my DN Murtha Honoration Award, I spoke about this one only because of the international pressure, because of entering into the convention on disabilities. They considered mental illness also as a disability, and they have the right. Disabled people have the right for treatment, and right for refusal of the treatment they have gone. And now we are facing the wrath of this one. The patients can refuse the thing, and so many obstacles we are facing. Is it not? So here anti-psychiatry lobbies are going on. We have to think about those things. Yoga has got so many benefits. This particular slide I have borrowed from Dr. Gangadhar. Dr. Gangadhar has borrowed from my Guru Bhavananiji. Yoga benefits, so many benefits are there. And because of the time pressure, I'll go fast. See, yoga research should not be just anecdotal. One person got cured of cancer by yoga. No, we should not believe, because anecdotal things and case reports we should not believe. We should have a particular sample, not case reports or case series. It is something like emperor and new clothes, bandwagon effect. Bandwagon effect. or the placebo-like thing. Even a button is given to the patient and asked him to suck it, he gets relief. You know that that one scientific method. I don't think the time will permit. So this story also I'll skip. Elephant and the blind man. So the person who thinks in his own way describes the thing in his own way, but he has to see the holistic thing, the whole thing, whole personality has to think about. Sometimes superstitions get currency because of the associated thinking. Similarly, we need not believe yoga therapy with the association. We go for the scientific rigor and whether it is better than placebo or not, whether it is a dummy thing or placebo, dummy or placebo or the real effect thing. Sham operations can also give good results because of the placebo effect. Anything is possible when you put your mind to it. Press any key, it works because of placebo effect. See, take our antidepressants. When we compare with the placebo, 1/3 of the placebos work in depression. 2/3 of our antidepressants work in any depressive case. 1/3 remain status quo. So what is the quantity of antidepressants improvement? Placebo effect 1/3 is gone, 1/3 is still remaining. So only 1/3 is beneficial. So this we don't accept. File dryer effect. Journals tend to publish findings which are positive only. When particular drug is acting, they publish. When in 90% of the cases, when one drug is not acting, they don't publish. Or something sensation. Dog bites man, not news. Man bites dog, it is in news. Cherry picking. See, medical companies, pharma companies, only whatever is favorable for them, they bring out and tell us. Similarly, here also, yoga people may say that the favorable things only may come if we see in yoga journals. But I am not talking about yoga journals. All our Lancet, British Medical Journal, British Journal of Psychiatry, American Journal of Psychiatry, in PubMed you see, you can find all the scientific articles. Many of our medical procedures have to undergo double-blind studies for validation. Unblinding of the raters, side effects often reveal treatment group. Certain self-limiting disorders, we think that because of our medicine only, that depression, whether we treat or not, after some time it may come down. So that also we do not know. So here also, the yoga thing also, we have to think about that one. Hawthorne effect. Even if we put some benefit or even if we put some adverse thing also, they show because of the attention we have paid, they show some beneficial results. So all these things we will be looking at. That means I am not asking you to believe yoga on its face value, but evidence based only. That evidence based you can find in our journals. How is it a mechanism? What is the mechanism? Rand's criteria. Very good rationalist. See, the disease must not be normally self-terminating. The recovery must be complete. So all these criteria, you put that criteria, then only you believe. See, for example, signs of chakras are there. Chakras, Kundalini, awakening. We have got Mooladhara chakra and so on. So people, we can go for study that one, scientific evaluation. See, 7 chakras are there, and each chakra is associated with a particular reproductive glands and adrenal glands, pancreas, and so on. So by concentrating, by meditating on particular chakra, the chakras are there in different plane. Our endocrines are there in different plane, but those can influence positively. Yoga therapist said, yes, experiment it. Whether particular Anahata chakra is going to improve thymus function or not, whether Manipura chakra is going to benefit pancreas or not. So this way we can go research problem, either any relation between meditation on a chakra and improvement of dysfunction of a endocrinal gland. So our aim is that one, whether it has got anything or not. Hypothesis. Activation of Mooladhara chakra leads to improvement in menopausal syndromes. Activation of Mooladhara chakra leads to improvement in fertility among women. Activation of Mooladhara chakra leads to improvement in sperm count. Activation of Mooladhara chakra leads to increase in testosterone levels in a, this is the positive alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis you put in a reverse way and study. Ask them to meditate on Swadhisthana Chakra, Mooladhara Chakra, and see the results after that one. You may get the negative results or neutral results or positive results. Then only you believe. So with this type of scientific experiments are going on with Swadhisthana Chakra, cortisol levels. With Manipura Chakra, reduction in HbA1c level because it acts on pancreas. Or Anahata Chakra leads to increase in CD4 count. Whether it happens or not, practically let us test. Visuddha Chakra, hypothyroidism, whether it helps in hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism also. So these things we can practically prove. So we have got the biochemical parameters, we have got the yogic practices. We can compare the things, independent variable, dependent variable. So these things we can see. Illustration, Manipura Chakra, whether it works on pancreas or not. Uncontrolled diabetic population in a locality in East Godavari. Sampling design. Okay, certain sample we got. Treatment group, comparison group, asanas group, control group, some aerobic exercises group. Do the experiment and see after 3 months or 6 months, they will be meditating on Vaishwanara, Rudra, goddess Lakini, and HbA1c we can see. Similarly, thymus, AIDS patient in East Godavari district is the universe. Anahata Chakra meditation, asanas group, exercise group. You do the experiment. So we can do this way. This is the thing happening in many places, and they are getting the positive results. That's why one should not say without knowing that one, because it belongs to Hinduism, because it has been invented by some illiterate people of some centuries back. Those people do not have anything. Those people got civilization only from West only. Only British people only brought the civilization for these uncivilized tribal people. So this type of thinking is not at all progressive. Very narrow-minded thing. Statistical design we can plan. See, these are the things, proven things from the articles I have taken. See, in the Google you can get all the references for this one, or if you ask me for a particular reference I can give. Normal healthy volunteers practicing yoga show that it helps to reduce neuroticism, anxiety and hostility. Expressiveness and catharsis occurs, decreased emotional complexes, and sympathetic nervous system gets calmed down in reaction to stress. Homeostasis occurs. Vagal nerve gets stimulated. Response for the balancing of the thing. Muscular efficiency enhances strength, tone, flexibility. Muscle tension is improved. Hand grip and all. One of the researchers, Madam Meena Ramanathan, she is there. She has done lot of physiological works on yoga. Irritable bowel syndrome. Because of the anxiety, we people, we try to reduce the anxiety, and gastroenterologists, they are unable to do anything for that one. The patient is caught between. Yoga helps. Burnt out professional syndrome, dementias. In dementias also, yoga, certain particular asanas and particular pranayamas helps in resonating certain things, which I come in a minute or so. Cognitive functions improve with yoga, including immediate memory. There are changes in hippocampus are found. Improved microcirculation. Improvement in social adaptation in mentally retarded children, intellectual deficit disorder. In CITER, that is the Balaji Vidyapit University, training the school, Divyanga people, that is happening, and getting the positive results, and benefiting the ADHD. Yoga is a treatment for depression like Ujjayi, Bastrika, Kapalabhati, Yoga Nidra, these help. Clinicians' ratings, when drugs and yoga are compared in a particular study, yoga therapy is almost drugs are more effective than yoga therapy, but when it is combined, anxiety and social adjustment levels have come down. On psychological tests, yoga people, they have scored better than this one, rather than the clinicians. Improvement in anxiety, depression, social adjustment, schizophrenia. Yoga may not help in positive symptoms, but in negative symptoms, it helps. Even my PhD thesis, my proposal also on negative symptoms, cognitive and negative symptoms. And NIMHANS people also, they have done some work. And they have written a beautiful review article. Non-psychiatric populations have demonstrated success in improving cognition. Treatment of cognitive and negative symptoms in schizophrenia. Metabolic syndromes, menstrual disturbances associated with the drugs. As a add-on yoga, add-on physical exercise. And on PANS scale, quality of life scales, add-on yoga treatment has improved. Comparison of 3 groups, wait list group, yoga group and exercise group. Social cognition, ability to read the emotions from the people, that has improved with yoga. Speed and accuracy and efficiency, that has improved. Drug withdrawal, caffeine, alcohol, benzodiazepines, those are helped with yoga. What are the mechanisms? Calming effect, increasing awareness, increase in span of attention, acceptance and adaptability, sense of security. And it produces ECT-like effect. Autogenous subconvulsive seizure activity was noticed with yoga. Elevated prolactin, it comes down. Vagal afferent nerve system. And oxytocin gets stimulated. The cuddling or emotion recognition, feeling of well-being hormone. So that has been noticed. These are all done in NIMHANS and SVASA. P300 is the recognition in a surprising situation, you know. That P300, that particular, the latency has come down. The amplitude has improved with yoga. Neuroimmunological depression is associated with elevated levels of pro-inflammatory cytokines. These pro-inflammatory cytokines, nowadays we are talking during the COVID pandemic. Why some people are dying? Because of this pro-inflammatory cytokines. So these things, these levels, the elevated levels come down. These are all proven things found in the journals which are recognized. Patients with depression have low levels of brain-derived neurotropic factor BDNF, and that is improved. Improved adrenocortical functions. Cortisol production is reversed. Cortisol reduction. And something about chanting. That it is a religious thing, whom has got all Sanatana Hindu connotations and all. This has been accepted, this has been found, how it is going to produce vibrations and changes in the brain structure in the vagus. And also fMRI changes. fMRI changes are noticed. The bold signal, blood oxygen level dependent signals in limbic system, it has come down while Om chanting. That means emotionally one became tranquil. So this particular slide I have borrowed from Gangadhar. See how changes we can see in fMRIs, PET scans and MRIs. How the changes occur in various structures. And Sanskrit effect. I'm not taking Hinduism on my shoulders. This has been proven in National Brain Research Center near Delhi that those people who are practicing slokas, their hippocampus is getting hypertrophied. It is getting enlarged. And ordinary scientists and those who are chanting the Sanskrit slokas, they are now conducting experiments on Alzheimer's people, whether they can control the progression of Alzheimer's with Sanskrit slokas. In a nutshell, so definitely it has got certain value. But what about the negative things? Are there any limitations? Issues we have to think are, one is double blind procedure we can say, because the person who teaches is not blind about that one. The one who learns also, he may be blind, whether he is learning a gymnastic thing or a particular yoga pranayama thing or aerobic exercise, he may not be know. The role of faith in improvement, almost yoga guru is considered as God, so that may affect. Non-specific healing effects, whether it is whatever be the therapy, it may work. And also it may be temporary improvement due to non-specific. So these things we have to think about. And also time consuming things, slow process, we have to think about that one also. Regular practice is a rarity. Many times, even for my study also, this negative schizophrenia with negative qualities, how they are going to cooperate, I'm a bit worried. Heterogeneity of type of yoga type employed, and also the intensity. What type of yoga should be done? Which type of pranayama should be done? For example, NIMHANS for negative schizophrenia, they have got a module, a little asanas, a little pranayamas, a little yoga nidra like, and a combination of this thing. But I'm interested in whether pranayama works well, or asanas work well, or surya namaskaras work well. Whether in pranayama, which type of pranayama works well. So that is my problem. That's what I'm going to investigate. Heterogeneity of control of intervention. Control. When I contacted Dr. Varamballi, he said, what type of control you are keeping? I'm going to keep aerobic exercises 20 minutes and with music and all. Oh, that's good. That's a good control, he said. The fact that most studies did not report any information about the safety. Are there any side effects with yoga? This was discussed in morning class by my acharya. That particular Shasha asana, where we have to bend the neck in a particular way, unless the neck is healthy, we should not undergo that one. Shirshasanas and all, we should not undertake. Children should not undertake certain things. That's why yoga occurring in a medical setting will have more safety than yoga being practiced by acharyas alone. It is something like physiotherapist can work well with an orthopedic man. Orthopedic man knows when to give exercise, when to give rest, when to apply plaster of Paris casing, and when to do rigorous thing. Then physiotherapist can implement. Optician, he has to follow the ophthalmology. Similarly, yoga, when it is integrated into the department, I think one can have very good results. Challenges, this is also Gangadhar's slide. Challenges in yoga therapy, mentally blinding yoga from influential schools, need for generic yoga. See, different schools say talk about different ways, but there should be a generic module. Patanjali Ashtanga Yoga, nobody questions about that one. But the rest of the things, so many things are there. Among the slides, all the colorful slides are mine. Black and white slides are some 3 or 4 are there. Those are Gangadhar's. Some research findings. Psychological test performance improved. Shortened latency, higher amplitude of EPs, increasing in gray matter, increase in gray matter, MRA, lowering of cortisol, attenuating oxidative stress, increase in quality of life. So many things. Iyengar yoga, Hatha yoga, Vikrama yoga, Vinyasa yoga, Vini yoga, Kundalini yoga, so many yogas. So one has to think about these things, different styles, which one is going to be better. So these confusions are there. Comorbid medical conditions. That's why my Acharya says, every patient is unique. There is nothing like this particular asana for this condition. One has to make a diagnosis. A particular tool should be there with us to unique diagnosis for each person, tailor-made techniques. So this thing only with collaboration it occurs. Psychiatry, when it is we have collaborated with psychology, with sociology, with so many other things. Why not with yoga therapy? We can have yoga therapist with us so that they are not going to take over the whole discipline. They are going to be helpful for us. Whatever lacuna we are having, they are going to complement us, adding the thing. So logistics, we have to bridge between these two things, and advantages are even indoor we can do, women also can do, inexpensive, no stigma, no, almost no side effects. Biological changes are getting proven. Multicentric trials are required. That's why in Rajahmundry also I'm trying to do some studies. So integrating yoga with modern medicine, I think it will help the society, I feel. Thank you very much for giving me this much time. We have lost 1 hour time. Thank you so much for this prestigious occasion, award for organizers and also the chairpersons and the guests and the audience.
Thank you very much, sir. As this is oration, I think we are not going to allow any questions. But I'm very happy and I'm very enlightened by listening from you about yoga. Here I want to tell few points and few comments, as there are no questions for the oration. I don't want to tell Dr. Kararam Reddy, as everybody knows that his ways of presentation to get the attention of the people and various general public as well as a psychiatrist has done wonderful job. But only thing, there's a lot of evidence available over the globe now, which can be classifiable as neurochemical, neuroendocrine, neurobiological evidence, even neuropsychological domains. Changes are demonstrated, a lot of literature available, and I think that is one point. Second thing, now even I am having my own wellness clinic. I developed my own Prashanti module of yoga. So like that, there are a lot of yogas, what Dr. Kararam Reddy also told about different yoga, different by different teachers and different institutions. Now we are trying to develop a generic module of yoga. Even Nimans now doing a generic module of yoga for psychosis, generic module of yoga for mood disorders, generic module of yoga for PTSD. Like that, there are separate, and it is already available in website of Nimans. So we are in the stage of getting a generic modules. Now we got a level evidence is there, and now we are trying to develop a generic modules, and to tell few words about different yogas. You can see that Jnana Yoga, you go to Bhagavad Gita, Vijnana Yoga, Jnana Vijnana Yoga, everything. These all, Hatha Yoga is different, Mantra Yoga is different. I used to talk about in my lectures, Gayatri Mantra, Mrityunjaya Mantra, even Mantra, Yantra, Tantra. There's a lot of things. I think it will not going to, we are not having time to describe all the things. There Kararam Reddy told about the Sanskrit effect. There's a phonetics is a separate chapter, how to describe the effect of the mantra. By the science of phonetics, you can explain this, it's already documented. So our Indian languages, not only Sanskrit, depends upon this phonetics. You can take Gayatri, helps in executive function of the frontal lobe by stimulating frontal lobes. Mrityunjaya Mantra is stimulating the limbic system. These are all, I think, a lot of, I don't want to go deeply, but there is a phonetics can explain the effect of mantra and all the other aspects of Sanskrit and other language effects. Mantra is a Maranam Trayate iti mantra in Mantra Yoga. This is not only Hatha Yoga, Nimans is doing a lot of work in Hatha Yoga. Nimans also doing work in Shrestha Kriya Yoga, that is Sky program. Nimans also, now we are having projects on mantra, the mantra, tantra, yantra. Yantra is a phonetics, how it works. Tantra is a procedure. Sandhya Vandana is a procedure. How a Gayatri becomes effective. There are things I think we need 2 days workshop to explain. I think Kararam Reddy is the embodiment of successful person. He is a B.C. Roy awardee, and he was also editor of Telangana, the Andhra Pradesh Journal of Psychological Medicine, and he was also editor of past editor of South Zone Journal. And he knows the research methodology, he edited the journals, and from his talk, I think everybody convinced about the evidence. And he's a person of a successful psychiatrist. I tell my daughter is 70,000. Dr. Kararam, I'm very humble to say Kararam Reddy is a legend. He has seen more than 130,000 cases. It is documented in his, if anybody, I'm requesting young psychiatrists, please visit Manasa Nursing at Rajahmundry and you see how he is accommodating. So to have is already yogi, according to me. To get so many degrees, it's not a human task. It's having something extra human, something not extra human. Again, I'm not opening a paragraph, but multitasking, multifacetedness cannot come to the ordinary. By yoga, an ordinary person can become extraordinary. And for that, you have to practice yoga already. With this experience at this age, sir is telling yoga is having a certain role in psychiatry. I am, in my opinion, in this with a humble way, yoga is going to become a therapy, and we are going to have a like clinical psychologist, social worker, and other occupational therapists. We are going to have a yoga therapist in psychiatry clinics in the future. With these comments, I'm over to Minas for his comments and to close the oration.
Thank you, Karirama
Over to
Reddy sir.
Minas.
Thank you, Kishan sir. Thank you, Karirama Reddy sir. It was definitely an enlightening talk about yoga and psychiatry as well as other disorders, helpfulness of yoga, and you could very well guide all of us how we can do research in yoga, do studies in yoga, and the evidences of yoga helping in various disorders, not only psychiatric disorders, but also physical disorders. Thanks a lot, sir. I won't wait much time. Over to the organizers, Satish Babu, sir.
Thank you.
Over to organizers.
Thank you, sir, for your excellent oration, as usual. And I thank Dr. Kishan and Dr. Minas as chairpersons. And we can give mementos only virtually now. We will send afterwards. So, Dr. Kishan and Dr. Minas, I think your mementos will reach your home. And
Thank you,
then
sir.
here, I request Dr. Pramod to give memento to Dr. Narayan Rao. I request Dr. Raghuram to come over to the stage and take the memento from there.
To Dr. Satish Babu garu. Now I request Shobha Devi garu to hand over memento to Dr. Pramod garu.
Garu, Dr. Bhagya Reddy Garu, Dr. George Reddy. And I thank you everyone. Now vote of thanks will be by Dr. Swapna.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Swapna, a consultant psychiatrist in
Before going to
My
for
privilege
comment,
to give thanks to
distinguished audience in the Dr. M.B.R. Sharma, Dr.
not to
Shobha
make
Devi,
situation happen.
Dr. Vardhan
On
Rao,
behalf of Tamam Psychiatry
and I
Society,
want to
I
thanks
extend
to
a warm
Dr. George
welcome
Reddy
to
and Dr. Jagannath for
Karirama Reddy
taking
sir.
us.
Thank you, sir, for spending time with us in the busy schedule to
Thank
grace
you.
the occasion. And today we have an opportunity to hear your thoughts on about yoga and how is helpful in different psychiatric conditions. And so we surely be going to encourage in our future treatments, sir. And I'm immensely thankful to our Chief Guest, Dr. Jagannath, sir, and our guests of honor, George Reddy, sir, Shobha Devi, madam, and Bhagya Reddy, sir, and our chairperson, Dr. Kishan, sir, and Dr. Minhad, sir, for the gracious presence in this event. And I thank Crescent Formulations for being with us with all the time. And I thank each and every one of our members who attended this oration and made this memorable for all of us. Thank you very much.
Next,
Sir, are we done, sir?
Yes, Anil, we are done. I think we can.
I can pick up this.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anil.
Thank you, Karirama Reddy sir. Thank you, Bhagya Reddy sir. Thank you, organizing committee, Minhas. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
sir.
Satish Babu garu, thank you Andy. Thank you very much, Satish Babu, all the team.
Thank you all.
मीनाथ सर आप
Sir, I'm ready, sir.
मीटिंग
मैं end करूं?
हाँ सर एंड मीटिंग फॉर ऑल
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.